And focus. All right there. Funny thing, the self. Years ago I went and bought a book. John Kennedy Toole, I think it is. A Confederacy of Dunces. And I was motivated to buy this novel by the fact I'd found out previously that the author had killed himself about 10 years before it got published. Something about this posthumous publication, and also reading something that a suicidal author had published appealed to me. And on my way home with this book in my pocket, I was thinking about the title, because I didn't know what it was about, no idea what it was about. I knew the title though, A Confederacy of Dunces. And I remember thinking, that's me. Myself is a confederacy of dunces. I mean, the narcissism is extraordinary. Buy a novel, hundreds of pages, millions of words by someone else, and I'm immediately thinking about myself. But I thought that is a very adequate representation of my position in society. Because what goes on in here is a confederacy. It's made up of multiple Chris's. There's many Mr. Dangerfields at work that go into everything I say, everything I do, my behaviour, my expressions, my life. There's a performer. There's Mr. Dangerfield, the performer. He's in there. And they're all sitting around a table. It's a confederacy. There's a sex pest. He's in there. There's a junkie. He's there. There's a teacher. There's a student. There's a warrior. There's a hero. There's a depressed person. And they're all me. And they sit around this table and they have these debates. And the product of their debates is what comes out of my mouth. And different aspects of me, different Mr. Dangerfields within the Confederacy have dominance at different times. And it's kind of weird because it gets complicated. Do you think? Because each of those members, each of those dunces which make up my Confederacy, have got their own brain. And in their brains, there's another confederacy. Like the sex pest. Mr. Dangerfield, the sex pest, sitting at the table in his flasher's coat and his nicotine-stained fingers and his horrible little look. He's got a wanker. Like literally. His sexual perversion is wanking. It's all about him, no one else. But next to him, in the sex pest brain, is a fucker. Someone who wants to go and have sex with other people. And them two are arguing, and that defines what the sex pest is going to do. The hero, he's there, but in his head, his dunces, he's got a scared man. He's got someone, I don't know about this one. And he's got a brazen hero who's ready to fight. And each of those has their own dunces. It's a complicated procedure. And there's another phrase for it, self-obsession. Dwelling on myself, the infinite goings on in my stupid head. How to be happy? Well, it's kind of clickbait because the first thing is don't be. Happiness, we're sold this idea of happiness. It's promoted. Be happy. Are you happy? Why aren't you happy? What an awful question that is. Why aren't you happy? Why are you never happy? And when someone asks you that, why aren't you happy? It's amazing, isn't it, that you actually want to go, fuck off. Well, I do. I see it on other people's faces. I ask it. Are you happy? Why aren't you happy? Why are you never happy? And I see it on their faces. Fuck off. Happiness is temporary. fleeting, nice, good, it's a positive thing. But this idea that that's our level is absurd. It's something to achieve occasionally, enjoy, and then move away from. You know what? Put me in a social situation. I'll tell you a good example. I've met a lot of my subscribers. I've probably now met about 20 of them. And it's a weird little situation, you know, someone will hit me up. They'll know where I am because I've said it, like if I'm in Patong, Thailand, or Soho, or where I am now, Phnom Penh. And they'll say, oh, I'm coming out there for a couple of weeks. Do you want to meet up? And that's a nice thing. Nice that someone wants to meet you. And I've got time. I've got a job, but I've got time. I can spare an hour for a cup of tea. And I'll meet those people. And it's weird because socially I'm quite dull. You know, I'm not into being the speaker. I prefer listening. But when I meet subscribers, they've watched my videos. And almost to a man, they've said, this is weird because, you know, I feel like I know you. Because they know a lot about me. And it's a kind of imbalance. You know, I'd rather just listen to them. And it takes me back, that situation, takes me back to my late teens and my early 20s. When in social situations, you know, just the self-obsession, just that, do I look all right? Is what I'm saying okay? Do people like me? You know, why does that bloke look weird at me? He doesn't like me. What's she thinking? You know, am I coming across all right? Maybe I should be doing this. Maybe I should be doing that. Maybe I should be more. I'm not coming across as interesting. I'm not an exciting person. I'm not interesting. Shit. I've got nothing to offer. All these mad judgments. Judging myself. He's in there. He's on the Confederacy, the judge. He almost gets the final say. When they've had their little debate, it goes to him and he's like, It's a chronic sickness, self-obsession. And we've all got it in different levels. I remember once saying to my Narcotics Anonymous sponsor, excuse me, I said to him that when I go to those NA meetings where it's a circle, like many of them, you're in rows and it faces the front and the secretary of the meeting takes it from the front and the speakers at the front. But some of them in the smaller meetings are a circle. An awful situation. There's no hiding there. It's just a circle. And I said to him, man, I hate those meetings where you have to sit in circles. I was trying to get out of going to a meeting and he wanted me to go. I was in a bit of a bad way and he said, go to a meeting. And I said, yeah, but it's a Tuesday night one. It's a fucking circle. And he went, so? And I was like, you know, everyone's looking at you. And he said to me, you've got nothing to worry about. Because everyone in that room is completely self-obsessed. They haven't got time to think about you. They're thinking about themselves. It's a great bit of advice, man. When you're concerned about a social event and you're overthinking about what you're going to wear, what you're going to appear like, what you're going to say, what are people going to think of you, you can drop all that because everyone else is thinking about that. No one cares about you. No one's thinking about you. They might be a little bit occasionally. They might even judge you negatively. But it's no skin off their nose. It's literally less important than them going, oh, did I change the cat litter? Your life isn't important to these people. So when you're in those environments and you're strung out and you know, I'm an extrovert. I know that. But I'm much the same on a deeper psychological level as an introvert. An introvert is terribly nervous in social situations. Terribly self-obsessed. Thinking it's all about them. They might as well be on stage. Everyone's looking at me. What I've got to do? What am I going to do? And they close up. They're shy. Physically, they kind of... Well, an extrovert is much the same. Terrified, self-obsessed, talking, dominating, attempting to control. To control, or, which is also part of control, but almost more ugly, to perform. You know, I done stand-up comedy 10 years. I performed to hundreds of people at a time. I think the biggest gig was about 600 people on stage, every fucker looking at you. Easy. Don't get me wrong, I had some bad gigs and they got their own problems and their own psychological aspects. But to stand on stage and perform, I'll take that any day of the week over being in a social situation and being me. Not so much anymore, but that was certainly my past, because I was self-obsessed. I thought I was the center of the universe. And there's one beautiful word that gets us out of all of this stuff, that stops us thinking we need to be more, that stops us thinking we're not good enough. There's one word that stops us comparing ourselves. There's a lovely line that comes from NA. Don't compare your insides with other people's outsides. You know, don't look at celebrities and their lives on Instagram and compare that with how you feel, because it's proper apples and oranges. The way out of all of this, the way out of the sickness that is self-obsession, the way out of the sickness that is feeling like you're not good enough or you're not enough, is acceptance. And that's true, that's bliss. When you accept exactly who you are and what you are, and the situation you're in, just accept it. You're good at some things, you're shit at other things, you could do better here, you've got your problems, you make your mistakes, you're also quite good here, you've made some effort here, there's been some growth here, you've got a sustained projects here, you failed this, you've got your successes, you've got your failures, you've got your life. Guess what? You're normal. And you share all of that with everyone else in that room. Just accept who you are. There was an old theatre teacher, a drama teacher called Sanford Meisner. And he invented a technique called the Meisner technique. And I studied it. I've done a course on it. It's fucking agony for me. In Meisner, the basic principle, the basic idea, and there's not a lot more to it. You know, you go and do these 3-week courses, you learn this in the first half hour, and that's pretty much it. You keep doing it. They're called repetitions. And 2 of you stand up in front of everyone. And one person says something. They make a very simple observation. I mean, there's different slight variations on it and it develops, but this is your basic one. So they might say, blue jumper, if you're wearing a blue jumper. And then you just repeat it back to them, blue jumper. And they repeat it back to you, blue jumper. Simple. And what they do in these Meisner classes is use the way you divert, the way you move away from the very simple. You know, it couldn't be easier. One person says something, you repeat it. Repetitions. Is that what I said? Reps, yeah. Repetitions. I don't know if I got it right. Fuck knows, it's late. That's simple, isn't it? But man, and as you divert from that, as you forget the basic principle, it starts becoming over-determined. Other things in your brain start getting involved. All those things I talked about, all that self-obsession, all that narcissism, all that fear of not living up to something, of not being enough, not getting it right, not this, not that, I'm not, blah, 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 starts making its way into what should be very simple. Like, I'm sure if you haven't studied Meisner, you're watching this thinking, well, hang on, that can't be too hard. Just dip, dip, dip. First one I ever done. He went, right, okay, Chris and Bob, whoever it was. So he stand up in front of them. What was it he said? Nice trousers. Oh, I had a pair of bespoke Prince of Wales check trousers. And oh yeah, I wanted to make an impact. There you go. Oh, I wanted to wear a nice pair of trousers. The Meisner course. Oh yeah. He went, nice trousers. And I went, nice trousers. And I thought, this is about repetition. So I've got to get it exactly right. It's tone of voice and everything. So he went, nice trousers. And I was sort of squinting. I went, nice trousers. And then after about five or six to and fro, my whole face was like, I was going like, and he went, stop. He went, why are you looking so pained? And without thinking, well, what I thought was without thinking, I said to him, well, I want to get it right. He went, what? A repetition? I went, yeah. He went, how hard is it? I went, well, you know, I'm trying to get it right. And he went to me, well, how did he get there? He said, who tells you get things wrong? And I went, well, and again, what I would consider not thinking, and bearing in mind I was 35 at the time, I went, my mum. I mean, this was textbook Freudian psychoanalysis. And he went, really? And he went, and how does that make you feel? And I was thinking, oh, come on, drop me out. And I didn't say that, but I did sort of go, oh, here we go. And he went, well, it's your relationship with your mother is preventing you from doing a very simple task. And that's what kept happening. That got developed a bit more. Other people were doing it. People ended up in tears. People ran out and left the course. It was fucking intense. And what I learned on that course, I learned a lot on that course, but one of the real things I learned, certainly about acting, to act means to do. You know, it doesn't mean to be artificial. He said to one of the people on the course, the tutor said, he said, count the bricks in that wall in the style of Hamlet. And this bloke was going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he let him get to about 200. He just kept, every time the bloke sort of stopped, he went, no, keep going. And he was going 70, 71, 72 bricks. When he'd finished, he went, you got it completely wrong. He went, look, let me show you. And he went, 1, 2, 3, 4. He went, where did all that other nonsense come from? And you can see it was an amazing lesson. He wanted to get it right. He wanted to do it in a way that he thought the bloke wanted to hear. But why would a character in a book by Shakespeare read it, count bricks like that? And what he taught us was acting is all about what the other person gives you. You know, if you're working opposite someone and they're not giving you anything, it's almost impossible to act with them. And it's like that socially. If you struggle socially because you're all in ear, your confederacy of dunces is having their mad conversations about you. How are you coming across? Who are you? You good enough? This person's very good looking. You shouldn't be talking to them. They think you're a prat. You're not good enough. You've achieved nothing. All these people have got money, etc., etc. All that stuff, it closes you down. Whereas if you can accept yourself, if you can accept your life, if you can accept your position, if you can accept the truth, you're going to be able to speak with confidence And you're going to be interesting because you're going to be based in truth and honesty and reality. Now, I said it before. I made a video about how to find a partner. And I said it's all about honesty. Honesty is attractive. And someone in the comments went, no, fuck off. I've tried being honest and they've just told me that, girls hate me. Well, you might just be an arsehole. That is an option. And if you're an arsehole and you're being honest, well, do some work on yourself. But if you're living in acceptance, and we can oppose, opposite acceptance is fear. So if you're not accepting yourself, you're living in fear. But if you can accept yourself, drop the self-obsession. You're enough. You're all right. Imagine. You're all right. All right, you're not Neil Armstrong. No. You're not Thierry Henry. Okay. You're not Louis Pasteur. Right, okay. So, you're all right. You're enough. Live amongst that acceptance. Fuck the Confederacy off. And you'll be able to offer yourself. And people will respond to that. And then you'll get dialogue. Then you'll get conversation. Then you'll get socializing. And that's what all this is about. Being with other humans. And not cracking under the pressure of who the fuck you are. Who the fuck you should be.
Thanks for watching.